Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Mari here. We are back. International break is done. Premier League is back. As you can see, I'm safe from the hurricane. Um, yeah, I've grown a bigger beard, but get my hair cut this weekend. But everything's all good. Our guests are coming on. Uh, the Arsenal lot. They're about 15 to 20 minutes late. They'll get in here. Um, Spurs lot. They're also running late, and so um, we'll just play by ear. We'll get this show going on the road. But lots to talk about. Some big games this weekend, and so let me start out by giving some couple of big ups. Who's in the house? We got people trickling in. Uh, why so late? Mm, it's should be 9:30 over there in the UK. 4:30 here, 9:30 there. Um, Big Tone in the house. Don't leave me out. Sheriff, big up, big up, Sheriff. Levy out. Scott is in the house. Scott Hyman, big up to all. Come on, you Spurs. When we got Brighton away. Yes, yes. Jordan, big up. My boy Jordan. Uh, John, what score do you think this weekend? I'm actually going to get to that. I think this is a must win. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. It should be 9:30 automatically when you do it through StreamYard. Um, wow, it said 11:30 p.m. Huh. Matt, Matt, if you want to jump on in, let me know. I can send you the link. Um, we'll talk Spurs first. True, you got scouted for this channel. Thought I heard it on here. Uh, both, both. I was running a channel. It's hard to run a channel by yourself. Uh, and the guys thought I would be an excellent addition to this channel. Will, Stell, Iggy, JP. And so at the same time, we both came together and became a beautiful marriage. So big up, big up. Mark Swift. Hope the storms are done. Yeah, all the storms are done. Thankful. Thank you guys for your support and prayers. John George, big up, big up. There's El Dere, Tottenham. Yes. What's up? You need to get out of Florida. Come to Chicago. Yeah, man. I love Chicago. You in Chicago? Oh man, I took a siblings trip to Chicago. One of my favorite cities. The food, the ambiance, everything is great. I love Chicago. Love to go back. Um, yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. I'm saying it's going to be a must win. There's no way we can play 8 games and not have one victory. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. But I will get to that, Tony. We're going to talk about that. Um, Big up Philly. Big up John. Big up Brian. Bryce. Oh man, I was just worried about being safe from hurricanes. Yeah. Would you move? It's a possibility. Possibility. I might be streaming from another country. I almost moved to the UK in 2019. Yeah, to Manchester area. Milnrow, Oldham, Rochdale area. Teaching job. Yeah, true story. So let's get to the first topic as we wait for people. And couple of people blow up my phone, so I'll send them the link. Um, Must win for Spurs and Ange. Um, Before I dive into it, um, and I'll get to Tone's point because I saw that um, floating around. Uh, there was an interview. There was an interview a couple of days ago. Um, very, very discouraging. I like to have a balanced view of things, and I get that in life people have beliefs, they have philosophies, and they stick to it. They stick to their philosophy and to it. I have some philosophies. I have some beliefs um, that I stay committed to. Now, your beliefs and your philosophy, your standards may change when hurdles or circumstances may come, right? Or may be tested. And and sometimes you may have to make an adjustment. And so I get back to Ange's interview. He had an interview the other day, and in the interview, he was basically saying, I'll read it here from my phone. Postecoglou reveals why he will not listen to critics telling him to show more of a pragmatic approach. Now, I was listening to expressions. He was on Real Tottenham TV, and like I said, we're up to nothing. Can we be a little bit pragmatic? And I love what expression says. You know, we went from managers who parked the bus at the back, right, back of the parking lot, to now we're parking the bench up in the front, right? Right, right. Sounds weird, but we're parking in the front, you know, and not worry about the back. So we're parking the bus, we're packing the bus in the back. Now we're doing it in the front, and so Anne says, I'm not going to change for anybody else. I don't want to be like anybody else, right? Doesn't want to be like anybody else, and I get that. I get that, right? I'm the first one to tell someone, you do you, be you. But in that process, in life, you have to adjust, right? Right? You ever see that meme, right? Where you have a plan, right? And that it's the end point. But then you have to go through detours, right? You're still headed towards that goal, but you have to go through some obstacles, right? And when you go through those obstacles, you have to make adjustments to reach your goal. And so what what makes it frustrating about Ange and his comments is that yes, you don't want to be like anybody else, but everybody in life makes adjustments. You can still have your beliefs, but in the game of football, when you're trying to cross that line, you have to make adjustments. It's part of life. There's so many examples that can be given in life that you're going to make adjustments to. Like, so I'll stick to the game of football. You know, um, First of all, and I also saw this interview on Last Word of Spurs, a guy who wrote a book on Ange, and just like, why is he going to change his style for others? He's been successful. But that was the A League, the J League, and no offense, the Scottish Premier League. It's not the Premier League. The Premier League is a big monster. It's a big monster. It's like it's common sense. You have Pep who has a philosophy, Klopp who has a philosophy, Arteta who has a philosophy, and they've had to make adjustments. Sometimes their philosophy don't work. Pep got criticized because he didn't adjust it against Chelsea in the Champions League, right? With the whole Fernandinho, oh, well, I can't even say his name, the Brazilian, right? One that could come to mind. He makes adjustments. Klopp, right? He came into the Premier League, rock and roll, high octave offense, got smacked by us. What did he do? Virgil van Dijk, right? He brought him in, right? Reinforcements. Hey, for Liverpool to succeed, yes, we want to have that rock and roll offense, but to cross that line, we gotta play defense. And so my frustrating thing is about Ange is, will he make the adjustments to get us over the line? We may be able to get a Carabao Cup or maybe an FA Cup with him not adjusting and playing the style. But being able to win a Champions League, which is the end goal for us, and win the Premier League, there is no way you can win those trophies without making adjustments. I'll use a perfect example. Game management. His in-game management it's terrible. And it may be good enough in the A League, the J League, and the Scotch Premier League. But this is the Premier League. And so I get that. I don't want anybody to change me. We're not asking you to change. But what we're asking you, when the time comes for you to make those adjustments, to make those in-game management decisions, you got to be able to do it. I'll use a perfect example. Everybody knows from birth, I've been raised to support Argentina. Love Argentina. I grew up watching Batistuta, well, Maradona first, tells you my age, um, win the World Cup. And then we went on a drought after that first Copa America that Batistuta led us to. One of my favorite teams was the 1998 Argentina team, the 2010 team, the 2012 team. Crespo, Aymar, Riquelme, Batistuta, on and on and on and on and on and on. Veron, one of my favorite, or still to this day, some of my favorite Argentina teams. Offensively, no one in the world can touch us. But the problem is, we didn't win trophies. We didn't win Copa Americas. We didn't win the World Cups because we didn't play defense. We didn't play defense. Fast forward to now, the Argentina that's won 3 international tournaments, right? Tied Spain for 3 international tournaments. Playing pragmatic football. This is not the Argentina I grew up with. But we're winning. We're crossing that line. We're winning. Solomon. My family's from the Caribbean island of Haiti. Haiti, if you know, a very poor country. We've had a lot of help from South America, Argentina, and Brazil. In that soccer crazed nation of Haiti, people fight to the point of death, killing each other. Brazil, Argentina. Go look at YouTube. When Argentina won the World Cup, the celebrations in Haiti. Like, my father played football for Haiti in the 1970s. He was able to learn the game from an Argentinian when they did humanitarian work in the island of Haiti. So, not to go into a long story, that's why since birth, I've been a huge Argentina fan. Almost to the point that if they ever play America, that it's like you gotta root for America, and of course because I'm American, but it's like picking between your two favorite kids. Because I was born from birth to root for Argentina. So that's a little history background of why this American is so passionate about Argentina. I have as many Argentina, actually, I probably have more Argentina jerseys than Tottenham. And I have a lot of Tottenham jerseys, but I have a lot more Argentina jerseys um, that I've not thrown away. I've collected through the years. But welcome, Connor. I'm talking about Ange's comments. I don't know if you saw it.
Vaguely.
About him not changing. He's going to be me. He's going to do himself. He is not going to change or be pragmatic for anyone. And I was saying that it's okay to stick to your beliefs, to your philosophy, but in life, because it doesn't work that way, you're going to sometimes be put in positions where you're going to have to make adjustments.
Yeah.
You're going to have to tweak some things. You can still have the same end goal, but you're going to have to make adjustments. So it may take a game or two or three to be pragmatic, especially if you have a 2-0 lead against Brighton, right? Not saying not be aggressive, but maybe the first 15 minutes, knowing that Brighton needs to get a goal, okay, they're gonna come with a lot of the pressure. Let's scale back. You know, um,
Yeah.
make those adjustments to be able to cross the line. And I'll say the best. First of all, I've never seen a team that is successful. And when I mean successful, I mean trophies coming in left and right.
Yeah.
Not being some form of pragmatic within the club. He will be the first one to do that, right? And it may get him an FA Cup or Carabao Cup, but there's no way you can play this style and win the league or Champions League. There's absolutely no way. There has to be, Pep. I use Klopp as an example. He came in the Premier League, rock and roll offense, and then got Van Dijk. Fabinho. The midfield playing defense, right? Still same philosophy, rock and roll offense, but the defense, right, was the thing that helped him cross the line and get Liverpool to win the league. And so I get what Ange's saying, but it's discouraging because it tells me that when it comes to the important game where we need to cross the line, it's not going to happen because he does not believe in being pragmatic. When Pep can be pragmatic, Klopp, Ancelotti, I mean, you name it. So,
yeah. Well, first and foremost, big up Maury. I hope you're doing well, man. I know it's been a bit of a struggle over in your part of the world, so I hope you're doing well. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Big up Angus, my guy Angus. He knows what he's talking about, man. Where is Stefan? I need to know where Stefan is, man. He's disappeared.
He's here in about 10 minutes.
Hopefully we can have a spaff. We can have a one-on-one with each other. Listen, the comments of Ange, I'm not surprised, Maury. I'm not surprised. When we've, especially you guys would know better than I would, how arrogant he is and how stubborn he is with his tactics. And I just can't wrap my head around the fact that a manager is seeing the performances he's getting, the points he's gaining from the league so far this season, and he's still content with it. And he's still like, nah, my way is the Ange way. And if you don't like it, you can go do one. I'm quite surprised by that. I thought being a manager, I mean, I was banging on for years with Arteta, to change his system, to adapt to the Premier League. And he took a while to do that, but he has actually gone ahead and done that. And especially during games, he used to have a big problem with changing his tactics in games. And he's actually gone ahead and done that. There's been multiple games where he has gone ahead and actually changed his tactics. And I've been very happy with that. The problem with Ange is he doesn't seem to see that. It's either Ange's way or hit the highway. And I don't like that. And I think you won't get any backing by your fan base. Well, majority of your fan base, if that's the way you're going to approach games. At the end of the day, Mari, teams are now like it's very well. I think it can be very easy at times for teams to figure out how you can play. Not just Spurs or Arsenal, any team. If you do your homework and you watch a team and you watch how they play, you can play to their weaknesses and go ahead and beat their system. And the fact that Ange has been playing the same system since he started the job and hasn't changed, I don't think maybe one thing. Maybe someone could tell me one or two things. He's maybe changed that slightly, but nothing crazy. And the fact that he's still sitting there on an interview and saying, and listen, I can understand, he's not going to, back down and say, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm weak, I'm bad with tactics, but at least own up and say, it's not working, I want to change it, But the fact that he's gone ahead and said, I'm not changing it, or this is my way, this is Ange's way or Ange's tactics, it just shows to me that either, well, what we know, he's arrogant and stubborn, or maybe he doesn't know what else to play, because I haven't actually watched. I watched him when he managed Celtic, and it is the same football pretty much. Long ball, high line with the defence. Because obviously Celtic are a very attacking team in the Scottish League because they dominate the Scottish League with them and Rangers.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he played the same football when he was in, I think, Japan or wherever. But maybe he only has one style of playing. He doesn't like playing any other way of football. But at the end of the day, Mari, you can't play that football in the Premier League and expect to get away with it. You might get away with it with a couple teams, like your Forests of the world or other teams, but you can't expect to go into every game and expect a result by playing a high line and constantly pressing. It's not going to work. You're gonna tire your players out. You're gonna concede way more goals than you want to. At the end of the day, Mari, I'm going to be so interested. And listen, I never wish injuries on a player, but if Tottenham get a major injury to Romero or Van de Ven, especially Van de Ven, this high line is going to screw you. It's going to absolutely screw you because Van de Ven is your player that will go back and Van de Ven is your player that will go back and get the ball when your high line is being attacked on. You're going to have to run back and go get the ball and defend. Van de Ven's the best one for that because he's fast. So if you lose him, then you're pretty much screwed. So listen, with Ange, I mean, good luck because I don't know who you've got next. You've got who have you got? You got West Ham, don't you? And West Ham are good on a counter attack. They've got fast players. So with a high line,
Paqueta, I mean,
Paqueta as well, very good. So they've got players, man. They can attack and they've got pace. So it's going to be interesting. But at the end of the day, Mari, teams have now got to figure out what you do because you've got one tactic, you've got one system. It's so easy to pick out, and I think it's only going to show more. And listen, I know we're rivals and all that, but I'm talking real here, and I'm talking from the heart. Yeah, you guys are going to go further and further down the more you play this system because teams know what they're coming up against. Like I said, you'll probably get away with it with some teams. Some teams aren't as good in the Premier League as you are.
The bad teams.
Only the bad teams. Yeah, listen, you'll get away with it. But even that, you look at Leicester. Leicester are not doing too well this season, and then again, you went and dropped points against them. So it might just be a 50-50 chance. But it's not what you want to hear from your manager. You're not playing well. You're not getting the points that you fans want, that you Spurs fans want. You want to be achieving more than this in the league. It's not what you want to be hearing at all. So I completely understand your frustration and some of the other Spurs fans, Mari. I think it's a disgrace that he doesn't want to change his tactics, man.
Let me tell you an interesting stat and why I say Saturday is a must-win. For me, it is. We played, and I'm not including Crystal Palace or Fulham. I'm talking about our main teams that we hate in London. Arsenal, Chelsea, and West Ham. We played 7 games. Ask me how many victories have we won from those 7 games?
I believe you have won. Is it 4 of them? 3 of them.
Kind.
3 of
You're
them.
kind. 3 out of the 7. All right, let me tell you. We played Chelsea twice, lost twice.
Yeah.
We played Arsenal 3 times, 2 losses, 1 draw, and then we played West Ham, 1 draw, 1 loss. So out of 7 games, we've had 2 draws and 5 losses. We have not won a major derby game home and away. That is not good.
Well, I didn't even. West Ham are currently undefeated against you in the last 2 games. Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy. But then again, and I believe you're at home for this one, aren't you? So
yeah.
I don't know.
Which doesn't
Yeah,
matter
West Ham are
because
tricky,
they
man.
beat us at home. Yeah,
It's gonna be tricky. But they've got, like I said, they've got the players. I don't know. I think it's Son Dow. I don't know if someone's going to be available for that game. I was 50-50 about.
Is he injured? And
I saw
so
that he had like a muscle injury, but that's the thing. What I'm saying is with West Ham, right? With West Ham, I think the defense is very shaky. I think they haven't got the best players in defense. So maybe your attack could do things with that. I'm not too sure. But then again, your attack hasn't been the most threatening thing this season. But it's just the high line that's going to keep screwing you, Mari. The fact I can't, we talked about it earlier. The fact you're going 2-0 up to Brighton and you're going ahead and losing 3-2. If that doesn't scream defence has issues, I don't know what does. And the fact that Ange will continue to say, my system's fine. It's my system. I'm going to rock my system. But you go ahead and not only be 1 goal up, but 2 goals up in a match and then lose 3-2, but still carry on to say that your defence and your tactics are good. It's borderline delusion, in my opinion, unless he's doing it for the cameras. Unless he's doing it for the camera. But that is borderline delusion, in my opinion.
And the frustrating thing is, because people are like, well, you can't put all the blame on Ange. Okay, granted, right? Some of it is the players. But what I've learned, and I said this on one of the post-game streams, that the tactics put our players in a position where they're nervous, right? Because you want to be put in a position where you're comfortable. I'll use this as an example. France, right? Saliba gave up a penalty.
Yeah, he did.
The last 2 games he's made boo-boos. Yeah. Right? And you look at the game, and France is good defensively, but they're not better set up like I would say Arsenal is.
Yeah.
And Saliba's great. But the position that he was in was very uncomfortable for him to make that error.
Yeah.
So with VDV, his last game, he played a bad game. He was gassed because this system requires you to be full 90 minutes. Made errors. Romero made errors. And so against the Brighton game, right? Well, the players made so many errors. Well, you put them in an environment where they're not going to succeed. I work in education, right? And we'll always talk about how's the classroom like? Is the classroom a good environment for that student to succeed in that element? And so it's the same thing with our tactics, right? That high line, not playing with a true DM, right? Put these players in a situation that they have to be perfect, Connor. They have to be perfect because if they're not, you're going to make mistake. And even when people said, "Well, they were there," but their mentality is for that whole 45 minutes, that whole second half has been pressure from Brighton, pressure from Brighton, pressure from Brighton, because football, sports is also mental. It's also mental, and so it is both. Yes, the players, but definitely Ange, his tactics does not help these players. It does not. It puts them on that pressure, and Poro played bad. Doji has been this year.
Yeah, that hasn't been great.
Yeah,
it tires them as well, Mari. This whole system tires them. I watched Tottenham, and it's like reading a book it's like reading the same book 50 times. The players get shattered by the 50th, 60th minute, and they can barely continue in the second half because they're knackered. They can't, play that way in that system. And I'll keep preaching it. You can't play Scottish League football in the Premier League. You can't. You physically cannot. Unless you have the level of players of, but I'd say if you even had the caliber of Man City's players, even Man City would suffer with a constant high line and having to go back and defend that. The players are going to suffer though. These are players at the end of the day. You know, they're not robots. They're human beings. They can't always do the job that you're going to expect them to do. And the fact that Ange is asking them to do this every single week is going to tire them. And also, it gives you injuries, Murray, as you've seen this season. You know, it's giving you injuries. And God forbid for you lot, like I said, one of your defenders gets caught out. I've always said, I don't know why, but with Tottenham, I don't know why you just don't play like a 2 up front. Keep it more defensive in the back and just play with 2 up front, whether you can hit and hope with goals in that way, but then you've got more space behind you to defend.
We've been saying this, Connor. You're saying what we said, and big up to Sheriff. If Conte was here, you know it would have been a back three, Dragusin, VDV, and Romero, and then we now have 2 wing backs, right? Because that's the way strength. This team is set up perfectly for Conte.
Yeah.
It's set up perfectly for Conte.
Porro is a great attacking fullback, and so is Adogi. So
it would have been perfect for Conte or Tuchel. You know, imagine that you know that plays.
I'm so happy about that, man. I'm buzzing about that. I'm so happy.
Tuchel for England. Okay,
yeah, I'm so happy. I think we'll win. I don't think we'll win something now.
I don't know why people are poo-pooing. I actually think this guy has a mentality to win.
Yeah.
To win.
And I'm out here listening to Gary Neville saying that there were England contenders for the job. I don't want Eddie Howe, Graham Potter, or Frank Lampard managing England. Are you crazy? Tuchel's a winner. I'm not too fussed on him, Mari. Tuchel, that is a great appointment. If we don't win anything under Tuchel, I'm going to be shocked because we've got the facilities to win a trophy of England, man. So. Yeah, no, I'm buzzing about Tuchel being at England. I can't wait for him to get started. I might actually enjoy watching England now because I've had years of pain watching shit. So I'm looking forward to.
I think it's a great hire. I don't know why people, because who were their alternatives? Like I said, except for Eddie Howe, I mean Graham Potter.
No, Graham Potter I wouldn't have anywhere near. Not then. Frank Lampard can go do one. I'd never have Frank Lampard near my team. No, this was the right appointment. This guy he needed the job, and I'm quite happy that we took him off Man United's hands because now Man United have got to go get someone else. I mean, if they were to get anyone now, I think Man United would probably get Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank is probably the only option they've got, unless they want to go and stick with Van Nistelrooy, which will go absolutely downhill.
Another thing, going back to Spurs, what I noticed about playing this style, 90 minutes of high octane. Brennan Johnson, either you believe it's a purple patch, he's hot, he's scoring goals. But you notice, right? He's scoring the goals in the first half. He's winded. He doesn't do anything the rest of the game. He's winded by the second half. You can see it. He's winded. And so it's like this is an attempt. Like to truly win with this philosophy that Ange has, you have to have the quality. You have to have the best of the best, the creme de la creme of these players on your team. And even that, it's asking a lot, right? You have to pretty much be Man City. But even then, can you imagine Phil Foden running like that for 90 minutes? I don't think so.
That's why I say this system doesn't suit. Do you know what? If Ange went to the Serie A,
maybe don't
he'd be perfect there. Put Ange in the Serie A, he might actually do all right in there. But you can't play this type of football in the Premier League. Like we said earlier, Mario, repeating ourselves here, you can go ahead and play this against some teams and you may get lucky and you may get a decent win out of it, i.e. the Nottingham Forest, right? You got a decent win out of that and you got a good day out at your stadium. Yeah, exactly. So you know what I mean? So it's all well and good getting these wins, right? But you can't be asking for consistent wins when you're playing this type of football, and you can't expect to get wins playing this style of football. Like I'm genuinely interested in why Ange thinks this system is so perfect. Why, like, what improvements has it made to Tottenham to make him think, do you know what? Nah, this system's doing all right, man. No, we're cooking.
The only way, Connor, is we will have to have the depth. I'm not talking about the first 11. We will have to have our starters and our bench to the point where these guys give all that they can for 60 minutes, and then the bench comes in off and running. Like the same synergy, right? I'm using big words now. The same synergy. And then those 11 have to truly be talented, like, and like I said, Johnson scoring, he's scoring his goals, but
that is going to mean nothing, Maury. And I want that hype to die. I hope you lot are not getting on the Brennan Johnson hype.
I'm trying to be positive. Theo Walcott, maybe that's a good comparison. Like
yeah.
Johnson.
But then again, Theo Walcott got over 100 goals for Arsenal. Let's leave him be.
Yeah.
He got over 100 goals.
He's not. He is not the player that is the player I feel that is going to be the person that gets us
no, he's not.
over the line. I just don't feel that way. And there's certain players in our starting lineup that's just, it's just. And so, of course,
he's Maury. He's ours. He's not worth 50 million.
No patience. He has a style play. But my only question is for Telly. Telly, give me another example of his style without adjusting, without having an ugly win, without being pragmatic, that has been truly been successful. Because for me, I envision what I want for my club. I want not Tottenham to win their first trophy, which I've been waiting, starving like an anorexic for years for. I want to see us build a dynasty, right? And when I mean dynasty, I'm not talking about like Real Madrid dynasty. I'm being realistic. But the Klopp dynasty saw him win a couple of FA Cups, a couple of Carling Cups.
Everything. You want everything, Maury. You want everything.
You want to win 4 or 5 trophies, 6 trophies. That's all. I mean, that's all I ask. Of course, we got to start with 1. Right, the Carabao Cup, I'll take it. I'll bite your hand for it, But I want to walk around. I want to walk to the barbershop and be like, "We're Tottenham, right? We won the league this year or 2 years ago. We pulled up a chip. Like I want to walk with chest.
Yeah, just say instead of being like, I'm a
Ange style can consistently be successful in the Premier League, right? It that way cannot consistently win because I've never seen a team that's done that. Connor, I can't think of so technically, right? You tell me no pay. Well, we have patience. How long have we been waiting for a trophy? How long?
You'll be coming up to 20 years very soon.
Like
coming up to 20 years.
I think technically trying to wind us up.
Yeah, he might be trying to rattle you, Maury.
I mean, there is no patient fan base at Tottenham Hotspur. Right? I mean, United, okay, Chelsea, right? I still think they should have got rid of Poch, but they seem to be doing well with Maresca. Poch was and like his style of play. Answer me, Tetley, if you're still in the chat, right? He probably put that comment and it's not coming back. Name me another club that has been successful playing this style. Tetley. And if you have a camera, Tetley, I will invite you on. I will invite you on.
But Maury, do you know what the funny thing is? You can go ahead and play the best football you want. And you do, and you're right, your team is probably fit for a back 3 or back 5 even with your wing backs, right? But your squad's not good enough to go ahead, in my opinion, even compete. I know you're not talking about league titles and you're talking about maybe cups. But do you know what? Actually, no, do you know what? Say that again, actually. Do you know what? Because cup competitions, they're down to knockout rounds, right? If you had yourself a decent manager that was good in knockout tournaments, you'd probably be all right. But then again, you've got to have a manager that can adapt to every single game. You've got a manager that can't even adapt to one game because he wants to go ahead and adapt his own way into every single game. He can't go ahead and I'm actually quite curious to what he actually says. Because obviously a couple of days before games, every manager sits down with their team. They go on the old board and they watch the team that they're playing against, and the manager gives out tactics. I actually wonder what Ange says in them, and I wonder if the players are like, yeah, the gaffer's going to say the same thing he said last week, just highlight and press it. High line press, high line press, high line press. And do you know what? You're doing the exact same thing, Mari, that we used to do years ago. Just cross the ball constantly, and it used to piss me off. We used to cross the ball into nothing. And I understand Solanke's quite tall, right? But all I see Tottenham do is constantly crossing to nothing. And there's nothing happening. And that is such a desperate tactic to try and go ahead and get some form of attacking form going in a game. There's no form of. You can't go ahead and say we're going to go ahead and win trophies when you're looking at what the manager's done in his previous years, not even changing his system. Like, that could probably go back and bite me in the arse there, because I did say that about Arteta. Arteta won't improve because of what he'd done in previous years, but to be fair, he adapted and he's changed. He was very arrogant. He's still a bit arrogant, but he's changed. Ange is way older than Arteta, has won things more than Arteta, but seems to be the more inexperienced, arrogant, more manager. And you think in a league as big and as great as the Premier League, that he can't even adapt his own tactics to different teams and just say, nah, do you know what? We'll rock the same thing we do every single week. I don't understand why he's doing that. I really don't. But that's beyond me, Maury. You lot are going to be screwed with this guy. You're not going to win anything under Ange, and the quicker that you get him out, the better. I mean, it's the same old story with Tottenham. I guarantee you, probably not this season, but sometime next season, he'll do one of them interviews by saying, this is shit. But you know what? This time, I'll actually go ahead as a rival fan and say, do you know what, Ange? No, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem this time. You know, you are part of this problem of why Spurs haven't adapted or got better, because you've been shit as a manager yourself. You know, and yes, he hasn't really had the great backing. I'm going to say that now. Your players that you've brought in have been nowhere near the caliber of what you should be getting. But the football that he is playing and the more suicidal football he's playing for you guys, it's just not acceptable for what you want as a fan base. Why the hell should you go ahead and watch High Line FC every single week when you know you might not get 3 points out of it? That's Ange's problem. That's not Levy's problem. Levy doesn't control the tactics. Levy controls the players. And don't get me wrong, your players, the majority of them are crap. You don't have a fantastic squad of players. You've got some that are decent, but a whole squad, no way. So that is down to Levy, of course. But you've got to look at Ange's system and what he's playing with these players. Like you said, Mari, this team is perfect for a back three. So why can't Ange adapt to that? Why can't Ange adapt to two attackers up front? That part is down to Ange. So if Ange does go ahead and leave the club, and he maybe does one of them interviews like Conte done and what's his name? Conte and Jose, I wouldn't go ahead and say, you know, the manager's actually really good and could go ahead and win you a trophy, i.e. what Jose could have done, what Conte could have done. Ange ain't going to win you nothing, Mari. He's shocking. And I knew that since he joined Tottenham. He wasn't going to win you a trophy.
It's no, I try to find some positive. I mean, the only way the Premier League, I just this way doesn't cut it. Honestly, the cup competitions, I'm talking about FA, Carabao Cup, a couple.
You can't even do well in them knockout tournaments.
Yeah, knockout tournaments. You have to do, but maybe you could get away with it. You know, scheduling. You play. I don't know. You play. Yeah. Salford FC or something like that. The Europa League is harder than it come. People are saying with chess, hey, they're gonna win the Europa League.
Wait until you get to the actual knockout part of that tournament. Then you'll know how difficult it can get.
Yeah, it is too early to even say anything, let alone without track record. I would not say anything.
No, not with Ange. Do you know what you'd have got? You could have won it with Jose. I would absolutely love you lot to play Jose in a knockout round. Fenerbahce. I'd love that.
Oh yeah. Well, they got
United. They got United.
They got They got a couple of players on their team.
Fenerbahce got a decent, good players on their team, man.
They'll harm us, and so it's before we go to Arsenal, Spence and David. If you told me a year ago that we were going to give Spence a new contract till 2028, I would have told you, what are you smoking? And you're lying. And then this is the rumor that Paratici has told, I guess, the club, wait till Jonathan David, because he's French Haitian, wait till his contract runs out and go after him. With Spence, I looked at it. I was like, oh, we signed Spence. Then I thought about it. We are so thin at that position that we need cover. I'm just saying we need warm bodies, right? And this is the club's fault. Um, Spence, like I said, I'm surprised that we gave him a new contract. Of course, on Twitter, Spurs Twitter, which is the home of apologies, right? People want more. Oh, look at him! He just got a new contract. All of you people apologize. And Connor, I don't know if the Arsenal fan base does this as much as Spurs fan base. Our fan base, you could be playing terrible and say this person's playing terrible now. Then the next season, or maybe 20 games later, they find a form. They're playing okay. They're playing well. Well, apologize for those previous 10 games. That's our fan base. And there's people asking for, I told you so about Spence.
Didn't they do this with Richarlison? Wasn't this a whole thing with Richarlison? Richarlison was like really shit at one point, then he scored in a couple games. And I'm like, no, he's great now. He's really good.
Yeah. And I have a funny story to tell you, right? So I go to a friend's party, and a buddy of mine, and the party has a couple people who are my best friend is an Arsenal supporter. There's Real Madrid, there's a Chelsea fan, but just a lot of Real Madrid because a lot of my friends are Spanish. And then my buddy goes, we're sitting down, we're drinking drinks, and then we'll talk about how we're doing. And my buddy goes, "Hey, I watched your show." Oh, okay, yeah, it was really really funny. I was like, "Oh, okay, which episode?" It was the post game. I forget the post game. It was a post game where you and this other guy, which was box office, had to defend ourselves because people wanted me to apologize about Brennan Johnson. So my buddies, right, all neutral. There's one Arsenal fan, my best friend. Real Madrid, Barcelona. They're all laughing because they're like, "Why do you need to apologize about Brennan Johnson? We don't rate that play." Like, and they had some choice words. He's not really that good. He's on a purple patch. Or they were like, "Well, why do you? Even though he's playing okay now, why do you need to go back in time when he was playing like shit and apologize? Like, what, you know?" And my buddy's like, "And you're critiquing his game. You're not throwing out hate and online. You're not doing that. You're just critiquing his game." And
this is the thing. I think I don't know why fans do this. I mean, I don't know. I think there's been some Arsenal. I mean, there's been Arsenal. The most recent one, honestly, has been Kai Havertz. I've been Kai Havertz's biggest critic. At the beginning, I didn't want him at Arsenal. I thought he was a waste of space. When he started off, his first goal was against Bournemouth, and it was a penalty. And it was like a given penalty.
Yeah,
I'm starting to warm up to him a bit more. I think he's more of a squad player than anything now.
He's doing good.
He's doing good. And I've admitted, and I've said I'm wrong. But to be fair, I haven't.
I would never tell you to apologize for those first
for saying something wrong. Yeah, no, 100. Well, unless you got Stefan on here, then you got to do it. But apart from that,
because the first 4 months, facts, he wasn't playing good.
Yeah, no, he wasn't great. He didn't adapt well to the team. But then he's going ahead and he's scoring not as many goals as we want, but he's scoring goals. So that's one thing. But no, you don't really have many people. I mean, you've got the old people on Twitter, but you never come up to fans that say apologize now for saying this about a player. But it's when you have the right to say it about a player. If you're coming to me and saying that Havertz was great in the first 4 months he played for Arsenal, you're borderline deluded. Brendan Johnson, before he started scoring all these goals, was shit. No Tottenham fan can come out and say that Brendan Johnson was a good player or a reliable or helpful player in this Tottenham squad since last season when he joined Tottenham. Let's be honest and real about it. He was shocking last season for Tottenham. So then there shouldn't, unless you've got a valid reason for why you should apologise for a player. Don't come to people and say apologise for saying this about a player. But I do want to quickly touch. I do want to quickly touch on Spence, Mario. Right? Just correct me if I'm wrong. I swear Ange took him out the team deliberately and transferred or loaned him out last season because he didn't want him anywhere near the team last season, right? I swear he done that.
And he did not put him in the Europa League squad.
So why is he re-signed him? Or why is Levy re-signed him? What's going on?
And four keepers in the Europa League squad, no Spence. Right?
Like,
Which I thought bad for Spence. I will say this. Spence.
And it's the fact he agreed to the deal. He agreed to the deal, Maury. Why?
Yeah, now, to be fair, Spence is playing better, right?
I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's not had enough game time.
That too. So that's a head scratcher. And Jonathan David scored a big Champions League goal the other day. He will be a good squad player. He'll be good on the squad. You know, I mean, he's not like the world beater.
No. He's not like the Mbappe of the world, like French league type stuff.
Now, if you told me Solanke and Jonathan David, I would probably put the edge to David because I think David, for me, is from what I've seen, is more aggressive.
Technical ability on the ball, he's way better than Solanke.
He's more aggressive in getting in spots to score. Yeah. My worry with Solanke is because he scored some tap-ins, like rebound, tap-in, but I haven't seen yet the movement of like, okay, I'm going to be here, get me the damn ball. Like, Box Office said this, like, arrogance. Like, you want to see some arrogance in Solanke. I have not seen it yet. At least with Jonathan David, I can see where it's like, fuck this shit.
Just go, Solanke,
give me the ball.
Solanke is a player, you've got to feed it to him. He's enough. I don't want to call him. I'm not. By the way, I want to make it very clear. I'm not comparing the two players, but he plays like somewhat of a Harry Kane. You won't ever catch Harry Kane dribbling a ball, or you won't. You've got to feed the ball into Harry Kane, and Harry Kane will score you 9.9 times out of 10. He'll score you that goal. That's why Harry Kane's so good, because he's an amazing goal scorer. But technical ability wise, as in on the ball, 1-on-1, you won't really catch Harry Kane doing very well with that. But in terms of controlling a ball and scoring, he's one of the best in the world for that. Solanke's that type of player where you've got to feed him the ball. You can't trust Solanke to go 1-on-1. That's why I kind of wanted Solanke last season, because you really needed that guy on loan, by the way. I didn't want him put it. So I was like, I really want like a Solanke on loan, which I got criticised for. But I feel like we needed that guy who we could just feed the ball into and bang, goal.
Get him to put the ball at his feet.
And that's the problem you have, because you don't really have a player. I mean, Maddison, he just hasn't been what he was when he first signed for you. He had that couple months where he was really good. You don't really have that player that can really feed into him. However, Jonathan David is a player that can somewhat even play a false nine. He can track back. He's very quick. His technical ability is great on the ball. He's very good. Probably not the best goal scorer out, like in terms of, shot on goal is probably not as great as I'd say many players. But however, when I have seen him play for Lille, I do like his technical ability, and I think he's very quick. So whether you're looking for a player like that, then maybe it might fit you. But I don't know whether that's the player that fits Tottenham's system, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hello, Stefan. Welcome.
Hello, guys. Hello. I heard the conversation. Solanke's better than Jonathan David, guys. Why would you...
I would say for what they do and how they get in positions. So I said what I said. Right now, we don't have someone feeding Solanke the ball, and he's not aggressive enough, in my opinion. Like, he doesn't have that, to be able to put himself in positions to be able to score.
No, he does, Mari. He does, but the only thing is that he does the 50 meters away from goal and tries to build up play and as the DM almost. I've seen him play on on the right wing. I've seen him go into the center midfield to pick up the ball. This system, I think, doesn't suit him as much because the players that he has around him in Brennan Johnson, they're not the type of players that will play intricate passes into
They don't play
it's-
to his strengths.
Brennan Johnson is a runner. He's a runner into space. So how is he going to facilitate Solanke getting the ball more, apart from if he crosses? So yeah,
Even that doesn't even work. I've already said that earlier.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Even that doesn't even work.
Yeah, so for me, I just think the player profile that I like Solanke. I just don't think he's like I said before, he's a good player, but he's not a guy that raises the ceiling of Spurs. Right? Is he better than Richarlison?
Fuck
Yes.
yeah. Fuck
Yeah, he is. But
Fuck yeah.
but like, is he much better than Richarlison? From what I have seen, I watched him against Arsenal and Brighton. First half against Brighton, he was good. But the moment Brighton got on top of you and they started getting really physical with him, he disappeared. He didn't do anything. So
He needs someone next to him, in my opinion.
I
think he
agree.
needs someone up front with him. And that's what he needs.
I just think the whole structure, the attacking structure at Spurs is people say
so shit. It's so shit.
No, it's not that it's so shit. It's just it's so predictable. Everybody knows what.
Yeah, we know what they're going to play.
Well, the thing is,
Who we are, mate.
the thing is that the XG for our club is like tops. Like I said earlier, the only way, because we'll talk about Ange's press conference the other day about I'm not going to be like anybody else. I'm going to be me, and whatever.
This guy needs to shut the fuck up, Mari. He really does.
Yeah, I know. I've already said that. It's just so discouraging. And I understand. I understand that you have to have your philosophy, but in life you have to adapt. Right? You have to make adjustments. You have to be able to win a league, win major trophies. Right? You have to be able to adapt. But the problem is, I said the only way, because I've never seen it work. Right? And I asked Tetley, who's gone, name me a club that has played exactly Ange's way that have won stuff in all of Europe. Not
the only team that I can remember, even though Ange's team isn't as good going forward, and they were super open defensively, were Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool when they almost won the league, and they didn't win the league because they were too open defensively. They conceded too many goals. That is the only team I can remember that truly challenged for the league.
That's like a one of them. You know, it's like you said there, one team. It's a 1 in a million chance. You're not
I cannot name you another team that was as open defensively as Ange's, apart from
I do actually find this quite funny. I've just seen like a news article. Ange Postecoglou has admitted that he's, quote, ready to explode. Pause. At Tottenham Hotspur players after the international break. Thanks for reading. You don't win against West Ham. This guy is
the XG is here, but the players are not. The only team that could literally play Ange's style, but they'll burn out, because I mentioned Phil Foden as an example. I can't see my Phil Foden playing 90 minutes like this. Maybe a Grealish, but
the only two players
in that team.
The only two players that have to stand to play the system 90 minutes are N'Golo Kante and Blaise Matuidi, because they both have like 4 lungs, so they can run a lot. That is the only two players and maybe Declan Rice. Declan Rice's stamina is one of the best. Declan Rice never stops running.
You would have to have a strong lineup and a bench that has that strength, that speed to be able to play that 90 minutes, to be able to have.
But Tottenham have kids. Kids.
Yeah. And so the XG is there, but as someone said this, the movie script is nice, but you don't have A-rated star actors or B-rated. You may be questionable B and C play this role. But I want to move on.
No. Mari, in his defense, he's done some good things. Like, he has switched Kulu to the center, which I know you're not the biggest fan of Kulu.
That's not revolutionary. Fucking hell.
But Connor, Conte played him on the wing. He played him on the wing, so Ange did change him. And Kulu has been playing well. So you got to give him.
I will give him credit.
Okay, guys, we give him shit all the time, and you guys, I'm the biggest cheerleader here. That I always thought he was full of shit and that the system was crap. You know this, but you have to say that he has changed a few things. I watched also in some of the games, Udogie and Pedro Porro weren't inverting as much as they usually were before, so he has tweaked a few things.
But I swear at Juventus he was an attacking middle. Am I wrong?
No, at Juve he played either on the wing or he played as almost like a second striker.
All right, my bad. I thought he was more of a tenant. Yeah,
he played he played at Juve. He mainly played the Thomas Mueller. I don't know what that position. Full striker, second striker. He played there a lot, but he didn't play that much at Juve. That's why they loaned him out. So and then sold him. So let's see. I mean, tomorrow is on Saturday is a big game. West Ham play. I've watched them a couple of times. They play with a higher defensive line than Spurs at times. Like some of their football was. If you watch them against Chelsea,
the break. They are rapid on the break, man.
Because they've got 3 players that could easily get into any of the top 4 teams, in my opinion. I would take Kudus.
Well, one of them won't, because one of them is about to leave football for life. So
for betting. Okay, but he's still a great player and better than any of Spurs' midfielders, easily.
No, Paqueta, 100%. He's better than Maddison, 100%.
Oh, please, Maddison is no. I said Leicester fans were completely right about Maddison. I think it was Wayne Holland who said, I think it was on the stream. He said, when things are going great, Maddison is amazing. He's the best player on the pitch. But when things go to shit and you need someone to dig you out of a hole, he disappears. And it's literally for Spurs, he's been exactly that. In every single game, what happens in the ones that you lost?
So uninfluential, it's crazy.
No, he's soft. He's like the whole Spurs team. He's soft.
What did you want to talk about next, Maury?
Awesome. All right, so I named this episode Resiliency because we now have to be resilient after that debacle of Brighton. And we'll get predictions for the West Ham game, which I think is a must-win.
Yeah.
But also, I have to say, though, twofold, that I was impressed by the resiliency in regards of losing Odegaard, though I felt they struggled to create. But they were still getting the results enough, but still struggle to create.
Mari,
let me finish.
Okay.
I don't get this. Saka, and that is a whole different animal because Saka is, I think, other than Saliba, like he's up there. Saka is very, very important for your club.
Saka, let's be honest. Saka
I'm hearing
currently.
I'm hearing conflicting reports. He maybe plays Bournemouth.
He's fit, Mari.
He's fit. He's fit. Mari,
here's the question. Do you risk he may be fit to play, but is he full 100?
Mari, we've got no one else. We have got no one else. And don't tell me Sterling. Don't tell me Jesus. We've got no one else to put there.
So, are you risking it? So I throw this out to you guys. We're playing him because he's fit to play because you're desperate. But if you had somebody, I know you guys have Raheem Sterling. Is it a game that you maybe want to play Raheem Sterling? And maybe
if it means we de-risk the actuality of him getting a real injury or hamstring, yes, I think Sterling is more than enough to beat Bournemouth. I'm sorry.
Listen, I don't rate Bournemouth. I don't rate Bournemouth. I don't think they're that fantastic. I think on their day they could be all right, but they're not great. But I put him on. Do you know what? Listen, I'll talk facts. I'll put him on the bench, right? If worse comes to worse, I'll put him on the bench. But he has to come on if we don't do well in the first half. He has to come on because what we have behind him is nowhere good enough to his level. Nowhere near.
Connor,
killed for Kudus in the fucking summer. Killed for Kudus.
Okay. Okay, wait. First of all, last season you moaned about the fact that we didn't rotate and that we would overplay Saka.
No.
Yes, you moaned about this.
No.
You
I
moaned
complained about
this.
rotating when. Oh, wait, let me actually.
Okay,
No,
okay,
that's right. No, that's
wait.
why. That's why.
If we
I
can't
complain-
if we can't beat fucking Bournemouth, if we can't beat Bournemouth because we have one or two players missing, I'm sorry. I think Sterling he's nowhere. Saka, in my opinion, right now, in the last 7 to 8 games, Saka is the best player in the Premier League, in my opinion. I don't see a player. In my opinion, he's got the most assists.
Say that
He is
again.
the best. Okay. Let me.
I wouldn't go that
change
far. I think he's been the best player for Arsenal. He's got form for Arsenal.
No. Let me. Let me land. Let me change that. He's the best attacking player. No player has more assists than him. No player in Europe has more chances created. No player in Europe has more big chances created. Saka is being ridiculous going forward for Arsenal. He has an assist pretty much almost every game. He's on course to break Henry's record if he continues at this.
Has he had the most? I swear Cole Palmer's had more XG than him and stuff like that. I swear Cole Palmer.
Maybe Cole. No, in terms of scoring goals, no, he's not as good. But in terms of assists and creating chances, there's nobody better in the Premier League this year. Not even in the Premier League.
Palmer and Mo Salah, their GA is. So you talk about assisting. You talk about creating.
I'm talking about creating. I'm talking about going forward.
To be fair, creating Saka has been on top for everything.
No, it's the stats. The stats. He's the most creative player in the Premier League based on assists and based on chances created, everything. So he's in really good form. Is there another Saka that we could have signed that could replace him? No. The closest thing that I can think of in the league, and I love him, I'm biased, is Kudus from West Ham.
Mbeumo as well, man. And
Mbeumo's also great. I wouldn't, yeah. But again, is Mbeumo better than Saka? No, he's not. Is he close to Saka? No, he's not. Or in terms of creating what Saka does, no. So that's what I mean. If we can't survive one fucking game, Connor, with Sterling, who's an experienced, seasoned player.
I just wasn't too impressed against Southampton. I just wasn't too impressed against Southampton as well.
So this is the thing for me. That's why I'm not worried. Our away form is better than our home form. We're too casual at home, man. I get annoyed. I'm getting fed up now. Like, we think we
holy shit, Stefan says something negative about Arsenal.
Yeah, but it's good. It's in a way good because we can easily improve our home form if we apply the same mentality that we do away from home.
Away from home, yeah.
Yeah, like if I want us to be, this is the only thing I think that will take us even more over the top. I want us to create, even though the Emirates, we rarely lose there. I'm being over dramatic, but I want the Emirates to be kind of like Anfield was when Liverpool were in their pump. Like pretty much teams would come in and you'd know they'd concede one goal and
you'd be scared to go to the ground.
Yeah, or you'd know they would concede a goal and you're conceding 3 or 4 in like the space of 10 minutes. So that's how I want us to be.
Mari, can you quickly share this? Because I just want to, because it's about Arsenal and it's about the injuries, and these are the injuries that apparently. Hold on a minute. What's this?
Yeah.
This is the injuries that we've apparently got.
This is all bullshit, by the way.
No, but I just wanted to bring it up just in case. I mean, it's not I don't think too crazy.
Partey has had a rest. Havertz has had a rest. Timber has had a rest. Ben White has had a rest. All these are supposed to be injured players. I guarantee you, Mari, 80 to 90% of these players are going to play. Arteta, I've told you before.
I've shared it on the thing, Mari.
He's like a hockey coach. He purposefully misleads when it comes to injuries. Like, for example, I don't know if you guys saw from the training pics. I don't know if you saw, Connor. He purposefully did not. There's no training pics of Ben White, of Zinchenko, of Timber, any of the fullbacks, or Havertz, Martinelli, or Saka. On purpose. He does this on purpose. And then suddenly everybody is fit.
I'm just bringing it up because, if this was the case and these players were missing, that is going to be a worry. But obviously, I hope they're not going to be.
I'm going to bring someone on because I actually posted a link for somebody else, but I will bring him in. Psycho Teacher, big up.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, gentlemen. I was eating. I wasn't ready. That'd be
Oh, okay.
fine.
Tottenham, Arsenal supporter with your
Tottenham supporter, sir.
Tottenham. Okay.
God help you.
Poor guy.
I know.
Great, good.
Indeed, I wasn't born a Tottenham supporter. I became a Tottenham supporter, throughout my life. I don't know if you saw the Mr. Stelios program last evening. I was telling him how I became a Tottenham supporter. Actually, I'm Brazilian. My father is Japanese. I was Japanese, and I lived in Tokyo. And I had an English flatmate, and the guy convinced me to be a Tottenham supporter since 1996.
Nice.
Yeah, unbelievable, actually.
I believe my best friend, who's an Arsenal supporter, and I'm like, I'm rooting for.
Why did you wait? Why did you become a Spurs supporter, Mark? Shouldn't you have become like a Man United supporter? That was like at the height of the rivalry.
Well, this.
We've got lots of my mates here in Brazil. They ask me the same question. Indeed.
Yeah, no, I'll quickly, then I'll go to Connor because he posted something. I'll quickly say this. Strange enough, because like I said, I followed a lot of international football growing up, and I watch a lot of Serie A, because in New York, you saw that more often on free TV because there's a lot of Italians that live in Brooklyn, and the Premier League, they only show the game of the week. But the first player that I fell in love with in the Premier League was actually Michael Owen. When
From
he
Liverpool? Wait, Michael Owen from Liverpool, right?
Liverpool, yeah. When he won Ballon d'Or, when he was amazing.
Yeah. He was amazing.
I
Remember the goal he scored against Argentina in the World Cup in 1998, which I watched with this same English mate who convinced me to be a Spurs supporter.
Yeah.
We were talking in a pub watching it.
Yeah, and so so I find it funny that if I was in that season of picking a club, I probably would have been a Liverpool fan because of Michael Owen. But I didn't pick a club. I was still supporting Argentina. It was not till later my best friend who loves Thierry Henry. And I'm just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And we're rivals in everything in American sports. And I said, look, Tottenham is not that bad. Jermaine Defoe, Berbatov, Keane. I was like, okay, they're up and coming. Little did I know. Lord!
But you know what's tragic? If you look at that front line that was under, I think it was Martignol. I don't know if Connor remembers because he's a bit young. But that front line of Pavlyuchenko, Defoe, Berbatov, and Robbie Keane, compare that shit to now. Jesus Christ! Like it's level.
And Timo Werner and Solanke.
Yeah, it's even you can even argue Harry Kane and Son, they were amazing.
Of course,
but apart from Harry Kane and Son, that was it in the Spurs front line. Like when they were really good. They had four forwards that could play, and that were Pavlyuchenko was I remember he was a very good player. Jermaine Defoe was.
I saw Defoe in the crowd. I don't know if I think he was at the Brighton game.
Yeah,
no, not the Brighton game. Which was the one that you lost? You lost the game. It was at home.
Yeah, because I remember saying, "Please come on the field. We can use."
Yeah, because I was like, you should have brought Defoe on that. You brought him out the crowd and brought him onto the.
But you know what? I'm gonna be controversial here. I always thought
as a sub. Indeed,
I think it might have been Arsenal.
Defoe is one of my. Defoe is probably one of my favorite Spurs players, and the only reason is
he was so selfish.
Yeah,
it was a joke.
He's an island boy. He's an island boy. So we call him bad man. He's a bad man. We've had that bad man since. And so I love Harry Kane.
We need some nasty players at Spurs.
No, he was
bad man. He's a bad man. And
no. He was guys. Jermaine Defoe guys would. If the XG was 0.00001, he would still shoot. He was ridiculous. I've never seen the only player that I've seen that comes close to his selfishness, but he's still really good. Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah shoots. I've seen his Liverpool. I've seen Sadio Mane when they were really good. I've seen him like you can tell he almost wants to beat the shit out of him. Like, how could you shoot from? Why didn't you pass? You asshole.
Yeah.
Like Jermaine Defoe was the same. Oh my, he would shoot from like. Yeah, but he has some great goals. He has a lot of great goals.
Now, here's my question back to you guys, and then we'll get.
For me, let me just answer that quickly.
It's an interesting fact, and this is why I say Saka is probably the most important person for Arsenal that can't lose. It blew my mind on another show. I think Dan Potts' show, where they brought up a stat of Odegaard for I think it was 5 years at Arsenal, and they said, do you know how many assists that he has? And I think they said 25 or 28. And I fell back in the chair. Now, they brought context to it, like build-up play and whatsoever. But I thought he had way more assists than he has. And so I was like, you know what? Saka is the most important, like you said, Stefan, creator, because I was shocked to see that Odegaard has as many assists that I would have thought.
But Mari, take into account that when Odegaard plays, he facilitates Saka to be much more in the box and score. So Saka now has to take the role of more of the create. Saka's really creative even when Odegaard plays, but Odegaard you can tell, although we're still really, really good as a team, you can tell just the build-up play and the way he kind of shifts play, the way he dictates the actual temp, the way we control games with Odegaard in the team is just better. But again, you're not replacing Odegaard. There's not a player that you can replace him with the way he plays for our system. And we just have to deal with it. We've dealt with it really well for a month. I think we're more than fine to deal with it again. You know, people aren't talking, in my opinion, enough about Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has more open play goals if you take away penalties than Erling Haaland and Cole Palmer. Nobody talks about this.
Yeah,
Kai Havertz has been sensational in 2024. Nobody's giving him any credit for some reason. I don't know why.
He's been, for me, he's been a revelation because, like I said, I thought he was going the ways of Mason Mount, like quash.
No, we'd have gone there.
And he
can play, Mari. He's not always injured. At least he can play.
Yeah, no. Since January, he's been showing out. He's been doing the thing that he is supposed to do. And I would agree with Mr. Post Office that Kai and Saka are very important, along with Saliba to that club. It's like you're not missing Odegaard.
Don't forget, man. Timber. I still say to this day, if Timber was fit last season, we would have won the league. I'm being serious. If Timber was fit for the season.
But Man City fan could say they don't lose Rodri for those 3 games.
I agree. And that's gonna be everybody knows that's gonna be the next. If Arsenal do win the league, you know what the narrative is gonna be. Arsenal only won the league because Rodri was injured. Forgetting the fact that everybody praised Liverpool during the COVID year when they won the league.
No. Fuck all that bollocks. Because in my opinion,
you know it, Connor. You know that's gonna be the fucking narrative.
Even if that is the agenda, even if that is the agenda, I won't care. If Arsenal win the league and beat Man City to win the league, I don't care if Rodri's out because we've still beaten one of the most successful teams in England in the last how many years. I still find that as an achievement. I don't care if they've got Rodri out. They've still got really good players in that team. Yes, they don't have. Kovacic isn't the guy to take over from Rodri. No way. But I couldn't care. You can't league. We win the league.
You can't replace.
I know, but the point I'm trying to make is I don't care if Rodri's injured. I don't care. If we win the league, we win the league because we played good and we won that league. I don't care about Rodri. I couldn't care about City. You know that.
No,
that's
but I'm
factual.
just I'm on your viewpoint. I completely agree
just
with you. But you know,
No, yeah, no,
but you
yeah.
know, but you know, if Arsenal do win the league,
That'll
that's
be
gonna
that'll be the narrative. Yeah, yeah.
no. Stel, I guarantee you, Stel and all the Spurs supporters that hate
No,
Arsenal.
no one can talk to it. If we win the league, and unless
No,
you're a City
I
fan or a Liverpool fan.
guarantee you. The moment it hits, I honestly think Man City are gonna drop off. I think they're gonna finish third
Oh,
because
mate.
We've got to we got to be cautious with Tottenham. With us, we've got to be cautious as well. You know.
It will be
no, I know, I'm not
it will be
saying.
better, but you guys will be in the catbird seat, and if the roles were reversed, I wouldn't care. Other than banter, I wouldn't care what other people think. We're Premier League champions. I don't care.
No,
if-
exactly. But I do want to point out if City do drop off, I want us to be better than what we were 2 seasons ago because we
Oh,
were
for
up
sure,
top.
for
We
sure.
got-
No, I have.
we we can't worry about what's below us. You've got to look at what's ahead.
But Connor,
i.e. the trophy. You know,
but Connor, we're already better. Last season we lost away to Villa. We have beaten Villa. Last season, which other result did we screw up? I forgot.
Fulham, West Ham.
So this season, we need to not lose. We need to not lose away to Newcastle. I want to see them because for me Newcastle are far weaker now than they
They're not
were.
as good as they were.
Yeah, they're not as good.
I have
So
a
let's
question
see.
for you guys. And then we're gonna go back to Spurs.
Really have the chance to discuss this type of issues, amazing. I feel we as Tottenham supporters, we are so way to be concerned with this type of issues. Congratulations, you are already there. We are so way. We've got so much to be concerned yet. To get into those details. That's which concerns me quite a lot as a Tottenham supporter. I don't know about you, sir.
Yeah, I have a question for you, a psycho teacher. But before I get to that question, here's a great question from Bryce. And I saw Egal. Egal said this. He said, if Liverpool wins the league, and that means, of course, he says, well let me face that. Someone asked him a question, what if Liverpool wins the league? He says, if Liverpool wins the league, with everything that he believes, Man City going down and whatsoever, Egal said he would strongly think about, and I know it's tough for him to say, he said, I'll start to think about Arteta out. So I posed this question that Bryce says, what if Arsenal doesn't win the league now that Rodri is out? And let's say Liverpool, I'll add on to it, Liverpool wins. Would you guys be?
No, Arsenal. No, for me it would be a real. I just think Arsenal are a better team than Liverpool. Arsenal have more depth than Liverpool.
No, I'm just saying if it did happen, would that be the typical?
The only way I'd say get him out would be if we didn't win a cup. We have to win a trophy this season. No, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd bypass it because I feel like
So wait, Connor. So if we finish, let's say we regressed kind of. We finished with 87 points. We finished second to Liverpool, but we win a fucking League Cup. You're gonna be happy?
And I won't gonna be happy, but I won't be like, let's get him gone because I said this at the start of the season. We need the trophy at the club now, man.
I agree. No,
I
told you this.
If you're talking about regressed, as in we somehow fall out the top 4, he's got to go.
No, but I agree. But this is. Yeah. No, yeah, I know. Our such tough problem, psycho teacher. I know, but this is my season. Last year, me and Connor would go at each other. This is the season. I agree. We have to deliver now. We have no excuses. In my opinion, Man City, I watched them against Fulham. They were extremely lucky, and they're going to concede far more chances and will not be secure without Rodri. They won't. You cannot, no matter how good of a coach Pep is, you cannot replace a player like Rodri within that system. Rodri is their most important player in that system. You cannot replace that player. Even if they sign in January, I'm reading Zubimendi or the Richie guy.
He's shit.
No, he's not shit.
No, I don't like him.
Fucking hell, Connor. With your fucking... Well, how is he shit?
I'm
How's
not
he?
a fan. I'm not a
We,
fan.
Mr. Mari, we are concerned about the next match.
Who's that thing? He's quality.
He's a
I'm not a fan
quality
of
player.
him, man.
What if you watch Connor?
He's not
I'm
wrong,
not-
Trey, but he's quality.
No, wait. Let me ask Connor. Did you watch him in the Euro final in the second half?
Listen, by all means, I get he's. I just don't think that he'd be fitting well in the Premier League. It's one of them players where I'm like, if he came to the Premier League, I don't think he'd fit in as well, especially at
said-
Liverpool. Especially at
we-
Liverpool.
No, I'm talking Man
Wait,
City
look
side.
at
here.
Gravenberch. Gravenberch has adjusted. I mean, he was horrible last season, and right now,
Mari, he's good, but again, Liverpool is still the same team. I can't believe people are raving about. They've played nobody. They're
I
still the same.
understand, but he was horrible last season.
Liverpool are one injury away from falling off again.
Exactly. I agree with Connor.
Actually he's playing good. Like he's like
No, he is. But do they defend better? No, they don't. They're still open. They still run through them in the midfield. He's better on the ball than Endo was last season because fucking Connor is better than Endo or me.
Cheers.
Yeah, no, Endo's shit. Like he's not a good enough player if you want to win the league. He's better, but they still concede chances. And Connor is right. What's gonna happen is they're starting exactly like last year. They're really hot right now. Their forwards are quality. They're super clinical. Jota, Salah. They have firepower. The moment those forwards drop off, Mari, and they have to rely on their defense, if Van Dijk or he still scores. Connor, he still scores.
Oh yeah, but he ain't great. He ain't great.
But the moment Konate drops off a level, Mari, which he does, he will. He'll get injured, and then when he comes back, he'll be crap like he was last year. That's gonna happen again. You're gonna see them being, not being the same. Last season in February, there were 5 points ahead of Arsenal and Man City. They finished 9 points behind Man City and 7 points behind us. So Connor is completely right. They might have depth going forward, they do, but they have no depth in the midfield and no depth, especially in defense. They're one injury away from playing fucking Joe Gomez, Mari.
And the nonce as well. They're one away from playing a nonce in Kwanzaa.
Oh yeah, Kwanzaa. Yeah, that's true, Kwanzaa.
and they did have a bad transfer. Like they only signed like one player.
Yeah, they're shocking.
They didn't sign anybody. They didn't sign anybody.
Federico Chiesa.
Oh yeah,
Mari, the funny thing is, they signed one player, but it was still better than the Spurs' window.
Yeah.
Hey, those kids will pan out in 5 years. Okay? Those kids.
I might be dead, that's why, most and many other Tottenham supporters also too much time waiting for a trophy.
Yeah. Too much. Yeah, no. It's.
Let me ask you a question. Is this a must-win? Did you? We talked about the interview that Ange gave a couple of days ago.
Mari, really quick. I'm going to shoot off now because I got to head off.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on, Mari. I'll quickly give my prediction for the two games. For Tottenham West Ham, I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham, and then for Arsenal Bournemouth, I'm going to go for 2-0.
2-0. Give me the Chelsea Liverpool game.
This is gonna be
What a game! This is gonna be a good one.
It won't be, man. Chelsea are gonna get found out. You just watch. They're not as good as people make them out. They really aren't.
I'm gonna go for a 3-2 Liverpool. I want there to be a lot of goals in this one. 3-2 Liverpool.
Okay, I believe there's gonna be a lot of goals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 3-2. Bet up, guys.
I disagree. Liverpool are gonna wipe the floor with them.
All right. So I'll start with Psycho Teacher. Is this a must-win? I said this earlier. Stephanie, you probably don't know this. Not including Crystal Palace or Fulham, against hated rivals. That is West Ham, Chelsea, and Arsenal. 7 games played. We have not won a game. 2 draws and 5
losses, right? Something like that.
So, is this a must-win at home against West Ham? But also, what did you think of Ange's comments? Like, I'm not changing for anybody. I like my style. I like being me. I'm not going to be pragmatic. I'm not adjusting for no one.
Yesterday, Mr. Stelios asked me, a similar question. And I was trying to be very careful with my English to label to use the right adjective towards our manager, Ange Postecoglou. I don't even know if I can use this word. It's a F word. It's not the F for letters word. It's another one.
Yeah.
The guy thinks he's the king of all knowledge of football, and he's untouchable. And he has become a kind of wizard of Tottenham Hotspur since those 10 first games in the Premier League last season. So that's it scares me how we, most of us Tottenham supporters, have fallen in love with those 10 games, and since those 10 games there have been 100 more games and terrible performance and so on. But yes, answering your first question is obviously it's a must-win game. We are on the 11th, ninth position, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man! Ninth position is not a Tottenham's, place to be in, with the investment and all those words of our great manager, Ange Postecoglou. Sorry if I cannot pronounce his last name properly.
No, I can sense from Psycho Teacher he's not the biggest fan of Ange. So yeah, I mean this is a must win because I think it's a bit far to say it's a must win because it's only 7 games into the season. But I mean,
but in a league, in a league, every point counts in the end. Is a sum of points. It's quite important. Each game is important. It's not like a cup. You have to be more concerned by the end of it, towards the end of it.
but not to him because if you listen to him after the Brighton game, he said, "Oh, Ange, why didn't you change? Why didn't you make tactical subs or something to just change the course of the game?" He said, "Oh, we didn't deserve a draw anyways." Oh, great. That was for me. The one thing, Mari, and I've said this, and everybody can call it Arsenal bias, is this media loving for him that if any other coach had said some of the shit that he had said, every other coach would have gotten absolutely destroyed in the media and by the if Arsenal lose 4-1 to Chelsea and they ask why didn't you change it to try and play defensive at home, and he says it's who we are. Can you imagine if Conte or Mourinho or Arteta had said this, or wait, even worse? Can you imagine if Eric Ten Hag had said this after he lost to Liverpool 3-0?
Yeah, they would have burned him, but
they would have chopped him into little pieces and thrown him from the stadium. So, but he gets away, and he continues to do these interviews where
he has become a kind of almighty at Tottenham, and even for the local British media, I don't understand, why they don't beat the guy up more, why they're more, straightforward, in terms of criticizing the guy.
I have no idea. I'm trying. Yeah, I'm a psycho teacher. I'm trying to figure out why the media loves him so much. I don't get.
He's kind, he's sympathetic.
But he's not. He's not kind.
We need to know this. Most of us need this kind of sympathy, which is not quite real, indeed. To be honest,
this guy posted
this doesn't seem quite real.
No, he's not. But the thing is that's also a myth. If you watch his interviews after he loses games, the way he treats reporters, he's a bit of a prick. He's not the nicest person. He's not. He really isn't. So
especially after the match, right?
He can be snappy with the media.
No, but look. If you look at his record, right? His record in the last 40.
Let me give you his record, right? And I saw this post. He said the problem is that Ange talks as if he won 5 Premier Leagues and a couple of Champions Leagues. He's won the A-League, the J-League, and the Scottish Premiership. A dose of humility is needed stepping up into the big leagues. Failing to do that isn't just arrogant, it's suicidal. And so, I thought, I'm like, he hit it right on the mark that this, and some of our fan base, they sap it up. Yeah, he's not changing for anybody. Yeah. But they don't think beyond the box of and we pose the question: what team has truly won consistent? Because I'm being honest, maybe there could be a miracle cup run at the Carabao Cup or FA Cup and get away with it. But to win the league, to win the Champions League, there's no way in hell that
Some way to be, I wish we could be concerned
or
about it.
pragmatism or making adjustments to your philosophy.
No, you could win a cup playing this type of football because it's a cup game. There's much
Yeah,
less. You have to win like 6 or 7 games. You could win. That's good. But a league title,
As well.
but
yeah,
not not Champions League.
no, no. Not in my opinion. You can't. The teams are just far too good, and the coaches are far too good with the system. But a
Yeah.
league title to win playing it this way, I mean, just let's just have a look just from every game situation. I'm
Look,
100% sure.
as long as the big six clubs, they focus on other tournaments, other championships, and then maybe perhaps Tottenham can, have full strength and win a cup. Otherwise, I don't think we can even win a cup in England, unfortunately.
Psycho teacher, you can't. Leicester has won an FA Cup. Swansea have won a League Cup in the last 10 years. Wigan have won an FA Cup. It can happen. You have better teams than
So now
those
you
teams.
understand how I feel. As a
No, in terms of it can happen. The thing is with Ange, the system, it's the same. Nothing is. People say, "Oh, we're better than last season." No, you're not. Teams
Mhm.
just now have figured you out, and they know we'll give them the ball. They will do nothing, and we will counter them. The
Yeah,
same way.
entertainment for the offense.
No. It was the same thing, and then not only that, the worst aspect I think this season that makes it worrying is that teams adjust in the second half, and Ange can't cope with it. Leicester adjusted in the second half, could have won the game by the end. Brighton blitzed you, won the game, and came back from 2-0 down because of some of the tactical tweets that a 31-year-old who was, I think, being mentored by Ange at one point, if I'm not
He went
mistaken.
to the training ground for like a few hours, I think. That
Yeah.
was it. Yeah.
So that guy outsmarted you, and like for me, I really don't rate him. I think he is the most invented. I never saw this type of hype and defense around Mourinho, around Conte, and I'm gonna say it. When Poch got sacked, I remember reading some of the newspaper articles that were like, "Yeah, Poch deserved." I was shocked at first they sacked Poch, but I was shocked at the fact that many Spurs fans agreed with the sacking, and we're not.
Most Spurs fans, they were expecting the beautiful Real Madrid football in a way or another. They didn't enjoy the way Conte Spurs were playing, unfortunately.
But Psycho teacher with Ange, it's like he has like these cult followers that defend him more than Poch was defended by Spurs fans. Like
You're
I
not allowed
see
to
this.
say anything about
Coach, the system
Ange.
was
That's what it
amazing.
feels like, anyway. You're not allowed to say anything bad about Ange or criticize Ange. It's like,
Yeah.
it's literally like
Not allowed.
it's not
Yeah,
allowed.
I
Apparently.
just don't get what people watch. For Harry Redknapp's football was far better.
Thank you.
Pochettino's.
At least someone gets
Yeah,
it.
but Pochettino, in my opinion, you guys are gonna think this is bullshit, but Harry Redknapp, that Spurs team, in my opinion, football wise, was the best Spurs team I've ever watched.
No. Definitely, I agree with you. I agree with you. So
Yeah. So nobody talks about nobody
my favorite
talks
style
about
of
Harry
football.
Redknapp.
Man.
Yeah, but okay, but Harry Redknapp's team played better football. Pochettino's team played far better football because they had better players, they had better system. Yet Harry Redknapp and Poch aren't as revered as this guy. I don't understand. Like the guy
Yeah,
can't coach a defense. He's gonna
spells.
concede another 55, 60 goals. Like I don't understand why people defend him so much.
I'm in America. I'm in America, and like I said, we like someone with a good accent and whatsoever, but also we also could cut through the BS. And I grew up
So
in
much
New York.
shit.
Yeah, and I grew up in New York, where you're raised to you're speaking waffle or BS. I don't know about fan base. It just words come out his mouth. yes, mate. And everybody's just like dropping their panties off and just like
No, Mari. No,
like,
he copies.
like
He's very. I'm gonna give him credit on this. He's very PR oriented when it comes to massaging the ownership. He has seen some of the buzzwords that Levy has used, like the Tottenham way or Spurs DNA,
like a rock.
and he uses it. Like for example, at the Spurs forum when they said, I think it was one of the few actually good questions. Like, don't you think that you should find a more balance between attack and defense? And he
Yeah,
said, "Oh no, sorry, aren't the most successful teams in the Premier League over the last
Pragmatic.
20 years?"
he
Yeah,
agreed, and he
no, he
agreed.
agreed. He agreed, and then he said, but that's not the Tottenham way." And then continuing, I remember an interview before that where they asked him about, I think it was the Declan Rice and Caicedo signing, what he thought, and he said that he didn't believe in 100 million pound signings.
Oh yeah, remember that one.
That's music to Levy's ears.
He's a
That's
puppet
exactly
anyway, I think. So.
Exactly.
he's
He
not,
has
guys.
understand it.
Look, no, I'm gonna be honest. He's not going anywhere. He's not
No, because I
even.
think
No,
I think
I
Levy
said
chopped his balls off. That's what I think.
yeah, he's not going. I have bad news.
Unless shit hits the fan really bad, where if
Yeah,
let's say some of the frustration from the fans that was last season where they started booing the teams after some games, unless that spills over like at Nuno and there's some Levy out chance, Ange is gonna stay, guys. I really do think he kisses Levy's ass. Ange knows that the other thing that people don't talk about for some reason I don't know is, guys, he's like this because when he's 60, he's never going to get a better job, let's be honest, in the Spurs. This is the biggest job he's ever going to get. So he knows he's going to kiss the hand that feeds him that massive job. I think it's completely normal that he is much more subservient to Levy and to the way Levy thinks. And
Submissive, isn't it? He's
yeah,
submissive to Levy.
I
I'm
yeah,
afraid,
yeah.
I'm afraid there will be no bulls in the end of matches any longer because the Tottenham supporters nowadays they praise so much, they hope so much of these youngsters who have been signed. You know what I mean? So now we've got another excuse not to boo the team because of the youngsters. You must give them time. You know,
Yeah,
they're young,
I
blah
agree
blah
with you.
blah 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 blah. So you know, these youngsters is a way to protect Ange Postecoglou's bullshit. Excuse me, my words.
But you say that. But you say that.
But he
The
doesn't
problem
play
is,
them. He doesn't play them.
there's that, but also there's another thing, Stefan. Yeah, Ange just barely stays more than 2 years at a team anyway.
Yeah,
So why?
his longest reign, I think, was coach of the Australian national teams, where he stayed, I think, 4 years. And I think in all of the Australia under 17s, under 20s, and I think two of those places where he was a coach, he resigned.
Yeah.
So
Well-
the longest tenured stay for him was 4 years in a national team. At a club team, it's 3 years. It's 3 years.
so over
And
the
I just want to say this because I have to go soon. But my
Yes.
point that really pisses me off, the point that really ticks me off, and people can call me a Spurs hater, is the constant massaging and making yourselves feel better by comparing yourself to Arsenal and our Arteta's process. Arteta, you say Arteta had 2 eighth place finishes. The first eighth place finish, his first game was on Boxing Day. So he was 6 months, pretty much halfway through that season, and then he actually took the team. In his third full season, Arteta almost won the league. So by Spurs fans' logic, when they positively compare him to, but Arteta finished 8th in his first season and Ange finished 5th, that means, guys, next season, if he is still there, I don't want to hear, not you, Haz, or Psycho Teacher Amari, from all the fucking positivity brigade. I don't want to hear anything. I want to hear we expect a title challenge because we compared ourselves to Arteta consistently. Because in Arteta's third full season, he almost won the league. And it's not like you can use the excuse that you did with Poch or with Mourinho, where they didn't get the players that they wanted. He has gotten every single player that he has wanted, pretty much. Brennan Johnson was his number one target. They paid big bucks for him. Solanke, he said, was his number one target. They paid big bucks for him. They've gotten every single player. And he re-signed Timo Werner. He said that's his signing. So I don't want to hear this bullshit. In his third season, I expect him to challenge for the league. That's you last word on Spurs, Fighting Cock, and all these podcasts that say, but Arteta did this, and Arteta, he should have been sacked, but look at Ange.
But
Okay,
didn't
so
Arteta win the
have
FA
him.
Cup as well, though, in his first season, though?
No, he did. No. Arsenal were crap in his first year and a half. They won the FA Cup. Yeah.
First season, second season, you have to see how Arteta was in the first season. So we have to
Also,
give time.
Arteta adapted from day one though, because Arteta played with like 5 at the back in his first season, and then he eventually changed. As
Arteta, he played with 4, but for the FA Cup semi and final, he played with 3 at the back. He changed it so he could win because he knew he couldn't win. He couldn't win with those players. Something that Arteta doesn't get credit for again, because they say, it's with Emery's team, even though Emery didn't win a single FA Cup game in that year that we won the FA Cup. But okay, it's Emery's team. But forget that. But I'm just saying that.
Before we take predictions, I'm gonna say this. Over the break, I got a message from someone, and they were like, "Mari, how can you be so like negative on the team and stuff like that? Try to look at a balanced view and being positive and stuff."
That's quite funny, because when I watch some other channels where there are many positive, Tottenham supporters, it seemed to me, I'm not a psychologist, okay, but it seemed to me, watching them, they even talk a bit tense about Tottenham, because, deep down, they don't really believe what they are saying, I think, sincerely.
No, I agree with you. And so to finish the point, I told that person, I said, for me, I look at the way we play, but most part, I hear what comes from Ange's mouth. And for me, as a fan, I would be so discouraged because what he says is basically, I'm not going to do what it takes to get this team to cross the line. It's going to be my way, which a way that has not been successful in football, the way that he believes, his philosophy. I'm not going to do what it takes to win that trophy. And for me, that's discouraging because what do I have to hope for if you're not going to do what it takes to be able to win, to be able to cross the line and win a trophy?
No, but Mari, if I'm Spurs and I'm looking at the horizon right now, I don't think you have a squad that's good enough for top 4. But I think you do have a squad that's definitely good enough to win the Europa. I'm putting all my chips.
No, Stefan, I don't think we have enough to win the Europa.
Why, man? Roma, the best teams that are in the competition now. Real Sociedad without Mikel Merino, and I think they lost a few players now that they have over the years. They're terrible in La Liga. Roma don't look very good. Who else are there in Europa that are could considered favorites?
Man United.
Oh yeah, Man United look amazing. They also look amazing.
No, I know, but they always seem to do that. I don't know why.
I agree with you. I agree, but you have a really good chance if you truly focus on the Europa, because not only does it give you a pathway to win a great cup, it gives you a pathway to get into the Champions League, which is the dream of Levy every season. So if I am Ange, I'm going to tell Levy, listen, the league is really tough this year. There's so many good teams. It's really competitive. It's really difficult. Can I prioritize the Europa League in order to get into the Champions League? But he won't do that because I see the teams that he put out in the Europa League, and I know there were Karabag and Ferencváros, but he made like 5 or 6 changes in all of those games. And in both of those games, I know people are going to call me a hater again. You got lucky. I don't know how Karabag didn't score like at least 1 goal in that game.
Max was really lucky, yeah. You got really lucky. You're right.
You're right. No, you're right, Stefan.
And that's why I was far more scared of Spurs under Conte, because I knew, look at what Conte is doing at Napoli now.
I'm happy.
He's turned Scott McTominay into fucking he's scoring goals there. He's scoring goals every week. The Italian
better about Osman too.
So he's a good coach. He didn't get the full backing. He wanted Bastoni, even though I thought that was unrealistic for a guy from Inter, the champion of Italy, to come to Spurs. Still, you could have signed somebody better than fucking Clement Longley. Jesus. Instead of him. While Ange has gotten every single player he wants, guys. And I'm fed up of excuses given for him by comparing him to Arteta. If you look at Arteta's 3 full seasons, he improved every single season. If Ange doesn't improve this season in terms of points tally, let's see what happens, because I want to see if they have the same energy towards this, because they go on, Mark.
Take some predictions.
Let's go to bed.
Can I just say one more thing, just on Ange, right?
Yeah,
So
go on, Hans.
Because I often compare Ange to like where we were under Martin Yol. So what I did this past week, I went back and watched some games we played under Martin Yol, just to compare the type of football we played and the level of players we had.
Oh, Martin Yol football was far better. I remember Martin.
I was going to say that. Thank you. I was going to say, and that was 16 years ago. Yeah.
No, but wait. Let's be honest here, though, guys. To the Spurs fans, Martin Yol had far better players. He had Modric in midfield. He had some really.
No, that was under Redknapp.
That was under Redknapp.
Berbatov though for like 2 years.
Yeah, Yol had Defoe, Berbatov. He had. Did he have Bale? No, Bale was under Redknapp. Shit, that Spurs team under Redknapp was really good.
Oh no, it was my favorite team. That's probably.
Yeah, so I don't understand why. I honestly think Levy is so good. He managed to somehow make Spurs fans desperate after Conte and Mourinho because they didn't play attractive football. And now if you just pass the ball forwards and say mate all the time, you're amazing. You're the best.
I could have done that, but anyway.
I'm gonna say the final thing, Mari. Sorry, before we move to predictions. Yeah. Ange, in my opinion, had the easiest job last season. He had the easiest job. He had and people are gonna say he lost Kane. That was actually a blessing for him because he lost Kane. Spurs fans had no expectations whatsoever last year. All they wanted to do was play attacking. Was play attacking football. Was for him to give them attacking football and for him to not talk down in interviews about the club like Conte and Mourinho did. For him to look like he was actually happy in the job. And that's why, for me, fans started to like him far more because they had scraped the bottom of the barrel with Conte, with the football, with him consistently talking down to Spurs. And so Ange came into a perfect situation. But yeah, that's my point. I'm a Spurs hater. Yeah.
Let's take some predictions. 2 games. Well, I was going to do 3 games because the game is very interesting. I'll start first with Bournemouth Arsenal game. I think this is a very tricky game. First game, I always think first game back from international break is always tough. It's always a banana skill game for all teams. That would be us, Spurs, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. It's always could be a banana skin game because you're trying to get back to form yet over the break. So I think that this is a little bit more scary. I think Arsenal wins 2-1. Bournemouth. There's times where I've seen Bournemouth play good, and there's sometimes I'm like, but I think if you're going to play Arsenal, this is the best time. First game back from international, especially if Saka doesn't play the full 90 minutes. I would think Arteta would be crazy to put, like, you don't want to risk anything. Maybe give him a good 45 minutes. You got Raheem Sterling for a reason, so put him in. So I say 2-1 Bournemouth.
2-1 to Bournemouth.
No, Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal.
Like, whoa, okay.
And then Chelsea, Liverpool. I think this is going to be a fun game. I see Liverpool, because they have the better defense, they'll be able to hold Chelsea off. But I think it's going to be 3-2 Liverpool. Exactly.
You're overrating Chelsea again, Mari. I've warned you about this for the last few years.
Cole Palmer finds a way.
Yeah, well, he didn't. He was poor. He was poor against Forest. He didn't find a way against Forest. So no.
That one game, for the most part, Cole Palmer, he's balling his A off, man. I mean, yes, you have to occasionally knock him for us, but he is that team. as well as Saka and Holland are playing, like those guys at least have a better team around them. Whereas Cole Palmer, if you want to say Cole Palmer FC, and the Casado has been playing good, really playing good. So,
Your man has been dog shit, Enzo. He's been fucking shit.
Yeah, I just think it's the wrong team for him. It's just, but I think 3-2, and then Spurs, West Ham.
That's gonna be really interesting. I'm really intrigued to watch.
My reasoning
Against
is
West
the
Ham.
Brighton. My reasoning is the Brighton reasoning. It's just that we'll be up. We'll definitely be up, but because of his stubbornness, and he doubled down. He's doubling down. I just feel that I will be surprised. We're up 2-0, and West Ham scores 2 goals, 2-2. 2-2.
West Ham aren't that good, Mari. You're at home. Come on.
We lost at home last year.
We lost last year to them at home, Stefan.
Yeah,
but that was David Moyes. This is Lopetegui, who plays the higher defensive line than Ange.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched.
Yeah, but they
West
will.
Ham's games.
They might go low block though.
They will get their chances. I'm telling you now.
The thing is, Stefan, in the Brighton game, what found quite interesting was when Brighton.
It's going to be the same exact thing. Oh, we could have scored 7 or 5. Oh, we scored 2. They're going to score 2. It's going to be 2-2. That's how I see it.
I agree with you, Mari. The two players that would really worry me is that they have the biggest weaknesses. Kudus and Ball. And if Udogie but if Udogie plays like he did against Brighton, I'd be very worried because Bowen is going to score. Bowen is, for me, one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I love Bowen. I think he's a great player.
I was going to say, guys, what really surprised me in the Brighton game, because everyone kept banging on about the high lines of both teams. There's even a difference between Brighton and Tottenham. Because when Brighton took the lead, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they dropped back.
Yeah.
They dropped back. And I'm like, why couldn't we do that at 2-0?
Yeah.
No, it was the same when Brighton. That's why I was impressed by Brighton, because Brighton have always been famous for playing always the same way and playing on the front foot. Against Arsenal in the first half, Arsenal were all over them and should have scored 2 or 3 goals. But Brighton were not playing the Brighton way, which was with a super high. They were playing with a low block against until Rice got the red card. But I was impressed by the fact that he changed the system twice in the first half. So I was like, okay, this coach is more pragmatic than the previous Brighton coaches that were there. So let's see. I really rate Lopetegui as a coach. I think he did a really good job at Wolves, and at Sevilla, he finished 3rd in La Liga. I don't think Sevilla have finished higher in La Liga in the last 30 years. He did that, and he won a Europa. So I think he's a very good coach. I've watched him against Chelsea and against some other teams, and they were just that defensive line, man. I know it's his first 6 games, and they're completely playing a totally different system from the David Moyes one, and the players are still, you can tell they're adjusting. But I just see Spurs winning this because West Ham are too open. I'm gonna go 3-2. I'm gonna go 3-2. I think you'll concede for sure because their forwards are really, really good, and Antonio usually bullies Romero. Every time he plays Romero, he usually plays really well. So, and Romero likes to fall asleep almost pretty much every game. So, let's see. Yeah. Mari, I told you about Romero. I've been saying this from last season. People don't give me credit. People don't give me credit in the chat because
I will be doing a special episode that I'm going to invite you. I'm actually doing
about his amazing stats.
Don't
worry.
His stats. It's actually going to be called The 2 Romeros, and I'm going to break it down.
There's only been 1 Romero this season. He's been shit. He's been terrible.
And I'm going to break it down.
There will be shit in that system, actually.
No, sorry, psycho teacher. I'm sorry.
We'll say for that episode. But We got to keep predictions.
Yeah. Let's do prediction.
Very good.
3-2 to Spurs against West Ham. What's your prediction for West Ham?
Arsenal.
1-1.
What was your prediction for Arsenal?
Oh, Arsenal 2-0
Oh, you did
Arsenal.
3. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
deal.
2-0 Arsenal. I think it's going to be an easy win because Bournemouth have a terrible stat that's very good for Arsenal. They're the worst team at defending set pieces this season.
Yeah. And then Chelsea Liverpool. That's one of my
Chelsea Liverpool. I told you this earlier. I gave it up. Chelsea for me are really overrated. They remind me a little bit of Spurs last season. In the first 10 games, they've been super fortunate in a lot. And I can literally name you 3 or 4 games that they should have lost. So yeah, they've been. I think they're gonna get found out. I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go 4-1 Liverpool.
Yeah.
They've got Sanchez in goal, guys. Just no words. Yeah.
Has your prediction?
Yeah. Our game I've got 1-1.
Why am I predicting Spurs to win and all you guys are predicting a draw? What is this?
I think Postecoglou will change it against us. I don't think he'll play as a high line. So I think we'll probably score first and they'll probably get an equaliser and that'll be it. Arsenal, I've got them down to win 4-0.
4-0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got 1-1 for Liverpool Chelsea because they tend to draw. That's the only reason I put 1-1.
Liverpool Chelsea tend to draw. At Stamford Bridge, maybe. Oh yeah, and at Anfield too. Yeah, they have drawn quite a bit.
I get mad every time I see this. On that episode, I'm gonna bring this up.
Mari, let me tell you, he's doing quite a good impersonation because every time he fucks up and loses the guy behind him for the header, he starts lifting up his hands, starts like doing just like Skodran he used to do back in the day, just like him. So he is doing a little bit of a lookalike there. But yeah, Psycho Teacher, what are your predictions?
Well, Arsenal 3-0. Yeah.
Okay.
Liverpool. Yeah, come on. Bournemouth. Solanke used to play for Bournemouth, right?
Yeah, but they signed the Porto guy. He's very good. Evan Nielsen, I think his name is. Yeah.
Not as good as Solanke, because Solanke now is at Tottenham. Don't forget.
Sorry. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
When we sign a player, he's always the best.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. This is crazy, brother. Anyway, 2-0, Liverpool, and a draw.
Wait, Liverpool 2-0 against Chelsea. You said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Spurs home recently, really bad results against West Ham. Why should it be different this time? Hopefully it is, but 2-2, a draw.
Well, every Spurs fan is not predicting a win. I'm the only one predicting a win. Fuck yeah. Okay.
We are talking about, not a first part of the table team. That scares me mostly. Yeah.
But they're not. But Psycho Teacher, they're not in the top 10. West Ham. They're I think 12th or 13th.
Second half of the table, right?
Yeah. So they're not that good. I don't know. What about you?
That scares me very much.
Sorry, for which game?
For all of them.
No, I said mine already.
Oh, you did? Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, just a quick prediction because I really love to rub it in. Man United, Brentford.
I went 3-1 to Brentford.
At Old Trafford, guys. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man, Brentford.
You know what? No. What's gonna happen? Because they drew against Villa and they drew against Port. You know what? These guys, United fans are gonna hate this. The Rants fans and the Saeeds. You know what? They're actually gonna get a result. And
I agree with this.
Delay the 10.
Yeah, I agree. I could Mari. They're gonna win 2-1. It's gonna be fucking shit. They're gonna get an 80th minute penalty and win the game 2-1. I guarantee it.
And then they can't fire Ten Hag and the ones
who are they? Mari, they can't fire man. Who are they gonna hire now? Potter? If they sack Ten Hag and hire Potter, the United fans are gonna riot. It's gonna be.
I'm trying to think about who's available. That's like Graham Potter.
Yeah, you know what? You know what is my dream? He goes to shit in the next. He goes to shit in the next 4 or 5 games, and the only guy currently available that everybody knows there's a lot of smoke there that they like is Gareth Southgate. Oh my God, that would be absolutely priceless. That would be amazing.
Only someone who has lived in England in the 60s and 70s and the 80s. Well, no, 70s and the 80s, because I'm a history nerd, and so I watched the cloth video, Nottingham Forest, because I was like, wow, how's Aston Villa good back then, and they won the European. Someone said this. United, if you take out the Ferguson era, it's scary.
No. They were really good in the late 50s and 60s. The Busby Babes, but then of course before that there was the Munich crash, which pretty much killed a potential dynastic team if you listen to. But then 70s and 80s they were horrendous.
They were horrendous, and the Ferguson and people were saying, United wasn't always good. Like, you take out Ferguson, it went back to pre-Ferguson days. Right now, what they're going through. Yes, they won a couple of trophies with Ten Hag.
I think they got relegated, didn't they? They got relegated, I think, in the 70s.
I don't know. Someone in the chat will have to tell me that, but
because I know Spurs got relegated. They won, I think, was it 77?
70s.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's the year.
Yeah. For Everton, I think currently in the Premier League, I think Everton and Arsenal are the only teams that have never been relegated.
And Everton,
and if you, because you're a history buff, like I didn't know this about Everton. They were an amazing team in the 1980s. They won the league. Like that, I wish I could have lived through it. Because can you imagine a Liverpool-Everton game when Liverpool were amazing and Everton?
There was an Arsenal fan that went on Sava's show, and I wanted to go on because he was talking banter about Tottenham, but where it got to the point is it will always. I'm like, wait. There was a time, Chelsea, we were on the level and ahead, and Everton was, and the importance of good ownership, because he was trying to say Daniel Levy's not that bad. I'm like, no, he is bad, because look what happened to City and Chelsea, and look what happened to Everton.
Mari, in 1991, when you won your last FA Cup, I read this. I don't know. Spurs fans can correct me. You guys.
No, you're right. It's 91.
You guys had the most FA Cups from any English team. You had the most FA Cups. In 30 years, Arsenal have the most FA Cups, have 6 more FA Cups than you. Man United have more FA Cups. Liverpool have more FA Cups. I think, Chelsea. Do Chelsea have more FA Cups than you guys?
I think less. No, they're less.
Oh,
they're like a
I think
they used to got a trophy back in the day. I remember.
So when people when they defend, because I also go on other channels that are kind of Levy. The thing that pisses me off about Levy defenders, by the way, is please say it. Like, say that you like Levy. Don't give me these hypotheticals and little kind of shitty kind of, but you're not going the middle ground. Just say that you like what he's done with the club. You can say it. But I'm not a Levy supporter. That's what they usually say. But then they say, but he's built us a nice stadium and we're commercially big now and stuff. But I completely agree. I don't understand what Spurs fans need to see more than Arsenal fans want Levy to stay. Chelsea fans want Levy to stay. Even West Ham fans are taking the piss out of Spurs.
I remember when you guys beat us. When you beat us 2-0 that day. On the Conte. When you guys were first year you were trying for the league. When your fans singing Tottenham Hotspur, your owners is shit or something?
They were. They were saying. What was it? Something about the ownership, and I think you went away. I think you went away to one of the clubs. Was it Wolves or somewhere? And they had like a banner taking the piss, like Levy, please. I think it was one of the smaller London. I think it was Palace or somebody else. I don't remember, but they were also. So I don't understand, what is, why they continuously defend him. But let's see, because they're running out of excuses, guys. And I've told Stel this, and to this day I will say it. The biggest blessing for you guys is Arsenal to win the league now, because you
No,
were
but you say that. You know what they'll say? They'll say, "Look what Arteta did."
yeah, but then
You know why
they'll
that
say,
would work? You know why that would work? I said this the other day, and a couple people got it. I use the Chicago Cubs analogy. This team loves the experience at the stadium. Before the Cubs won the World Series, there were
you're not
90.
the Chicago Cubs, Mari. The
Wait, 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 wait,
Chicago Cubs hadn't won a World Series
wait, wait.
since
No, they won. No, they actually did win. They did win.
but they hadn't won a World Series since
No, listen, listen,
1926.
listen. When they didn't win for those 98 years, right? Everybody loved them as the lovable losers. They will pack that stadium, Wrigley Field, because of the experience, drink beers. It was popular. Until the new owner came and the Wrigley's left, the new owner showed the ambition and changed the culture to the point when they finally won the World Series. Now they expect to win. But before that new owner came in, right? The Chicago Cubs never had the ambition because people would sell out their stadium. Everybody would talk about Wrigley Field. Oh, we're the lovable losers. They will always sell out. They will always make money. Chicago Cubs will always have popular.
No, for me, yeah, for me,
They
no,
didn't
I
win.
agree with you. I agree. I agree.
And
No,
I
I
said
agree.
Spurs are the Cubs of
I disagree, Mari. I think
it's
you're
just
not that
in like
you're not as bad. I think the franchise that is most emblematic in American sports of you guys, because you do have heritage in terms of you do have old school heritage, is the New York
heritage before they won.
Jets. I would say the New York Jets are the best example of what Spurs are, which were they were the first great team in the 1960s when the NFL was
AFC
formed.
team. Yeah, they were the first
Yeah,
AFC.
and then they had great players. You had Jimmy Greaves, they had Joe Namath, they had legendary players that became Hall of Fame. They were first Hall of Famers. Now they've been shit for 40, 50 years because their ownership is terrible. And it's the same thing with Spurs, where I would say the final thing is, because we need to go, everybody's sleeping, but for me, the biggest curse that you guys had was that terrible run in the 90s, guys. Because that terrible run in the 90s with I think you were close to bankruptcy at one point.
Yeah.
It created this kind of YOLO mentality, I would call it, where fans were like, well, we're not winning anything, but it could be worse. It could be like the 90s where we were shit and almost getting relegated, and we had, fucking, some crap players, and we had no training ground and stuff like that. So I think that was the biggest curse, because if you listen to a lot of the modern day fans, especially the ones that were born around I would say the 80s, around your time, Mari, they're the worst fans. The best fans, in my opinion, are the ones that were born kind of like Ian that comes on your show, because he remembers those times when you were winning cups. The older fans, I would say, are the more demanding fans because they've seen Spurs win trophies. The worst fans are the ones that are like 35, 40 now, that when they were kids in high school, they got bullied by their friends because Spurs were going to get relegated or go bankrupt. So they remember those painful times, and now the stability that Levy has brought in terms of you're never going to get relegated. You're never going to get relegated, but you're never going to be as shit as you were in the 90s, has created this false sense of like it could be worse.
You're right. I'm just saying I'm 32.
And we
Though.
won
I'm
trophies
maybe
in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing
No,
about it.
I'm not saying I'm not saying all of the new fans are also like Charlie, you guys, but those fans, for example, I'll give you, and it's my opinion, it's not the show, but the fighting cock, that segment or consumer segment or whatever of fans that are born 1981, 82, 83. If you listen to the way they interpret Spurs, is that we're used to Spurs kind of being Spursy and stuff like this. It was way worse in the 90s. That's always what they kind of back it up with. And for me, that's why you guys. I think it's accepted far more than an Arsenal and stuff, because Arsenal in recent years, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, Arsenal have been competitive and successful. You guys haven't been, and that's the issue for me.
Well, guys, we are going to go. We have the post-game show at 9, I want to say, 9 o'clock on Saturday. West Ham.
You better be West Ham, guys. You better be.
Yeah, that's why I call it a must-win for
Last results.
Yeah, hey, to everybody in the chat that calls me a Spurs hater, I'm the only one in this panel that predicted a Spurs win. So fuck all of you guys. Yeah.
he
Yeah,
did. I did that too. But yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we are out, and like I said, we have the post-game show that is on Saturday. And big up to everybody who's in the chat. And I'll see you guys next week. Come on, you Spurs!
Spurs.
See you guys. Thank you.